A Knight in Shining Spandex by B. Bark. Harley and Peter had been dating for a few weeks, and the last thing Harley would have expected was Spider-Man revealing himself as their boyfriend after he saved them from getting mugged. Peter and Harley had only been dating for a few weeks now, but Harley felt like it had been so much longer than that. Maybe because they'd spent the last 2 months they'd known each other attached at the hips, where one of them was, the other wasn't far. It had given them more than enough time to get to know Peter and all of his dorky, nerdy, handsome glory and crush on him. Hard. Harder than it had ever fallen for anyone before. Maybe it was because he was the first one Faye could be open with about her sexuality. Maybe it was because as soon as she had confessed to him that she didn't think she was cis, he had dragged her through thrift shop over thrift shop and helped her figure out how to express herself. Either way, Harley was the happiest they could be with their boyfriend, and now they were on their way home from a late dinner with Peter. Maybe it should have let him accompany it home for the few blocks between the diner and the tower, or maybe it should have called Happy to pick it up, but back in Tennessee, Faye was used to walking greater distances at far later hours on her own, and the post-date bliss made fair few invincible. But she had forgotten that New York City wasn't Tennessee, and she wasn't safe here, so she found herself at knife point soon. Harley was just about to hand over their wallet to get this over with. If they told Tony what happened, he'd lecture her, but ultimately replace everything in it. But then a thin white line, almost like spider silk, connected to the knife and yanked it right out of the mugger's hand. Both Harley and the mugger stared after it in shock, watching the knife clatter against a wall and then to the ground. Then Harley saw some more white from the corner of its eyes and whipped its head around to see the mugger stuck to a different wall, all wrapped up in what definitely looked like a spider web. Spider-Man. Harley looked up, trying to figure out where he was, but by then he had already dropped in front of there. She jumped and let out a small scream. Embarrassing, but he just bent over to pick up her wallet that she hadn't even realized she'd dropped. He bowed, offering them their wallet with a flourish. "Your wallet, princess." Something about the way he said it sounds familiar, but Harley couldn't pinpoint it. Harley said, and stared after it for a second before scrambling to take it out of his hand. "Thanks. That's what your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's for," he declared without missing a beat, and stood up straight. Then he eyed Harley up, the eyes of his mask moving weirdly as he did. "Are you alright, Harles?" Harley blinked. I guess," Faye responded. It was kind of weird that he knew her name and used a nickname at that, but maybe Tony had mentioned her to him? "You sure?" Spider-Man asked. "That guy didn't hurt you?" Harley shook their head. "Didn't even get a chance to touch me. All thanks to you." Spider-Man rubbed the side of his neck. "Aw, shucks. That was nothing, really." "Maybe to you," Harley responded, "but to me, that definitely saved my wallet." "Well then," Spider-Man sounded like he was smiling. "You're welcome then, and your wallet too." "Thanks again," Harley said. "I'll be, on my way then?" "Wait," Spider-Man exclaimed, reaching out for it before it even got a chance to leave. He stopped just before his fingers could touch Fair's shoulder, though. "Let me bring you home?" Harley's eyes widened. "Oh, it's not far, though," she argued. "It's just to the tower, right?" Spider-Man said, "I can pick up some new web refills on the way, so no biggie." That was fair, so Harley nodded. "Fine." "All right," Spider-Man said, and opened his arms. "Hold on, princess." Harley stepped closer and wrapped their arms around his torso, and as Spider-Man put an arm around them, only then it thought of asking, "Wait, how do you know where I live?" "Huh?" he asked, absent-minded. "And my name!" Fair exclaimed. "You knew my name, too!" The eyes of Spider-Man's widening the same moment he froze. "Wait a minute." Then he groaned, hitting his forehead on Harley's shoulder. "Fuck. That was not... shit." Harley frowned. "Still waiting." Spider-Man groaned some more. Then he lifted his head to look at Harley, or at least that's what it looked like, then stepped back. "Okay then," he began. "I promise I meant to tell you, but I don't know. At first, we didn't even know each other that well, and then we got to know each other better, and it would just, would have been awkward. I don't know. But I know I should have told you earlier, and I'm sorry. Harley blinked, trying to take everything in that he was saying. Wait. Do we know each other? Spider-Man shut up when they interrupted him, then just stared at them for a moment. Then he said, "You know what? Fuck it." And then he grabbed his hand, tonguing it into the next alley, and Harley was starting to get worried when he turned back around to it and pulled off his mask. Harley blinked once, twice, 3 times. Fair mouth wide open. She couldn't quite compute the information because that was Peter's face, and when he opened his mouth to apologize, it was Spider-Man's voice that came out. "I'm so sorry," he repeated. "I should have told you after we got together. It's not a thing I tell people, even though I should." And Harley stepped closer and placed a hand on his chest, looking into his eyes. "Darling, it's okay. I'm not mad. They frowned. It's your decision, right? Who you want to tell. So you're under no obligation to tell me, but I'm glad you did anyway." "What else could I have told you?" Harley shrugged. "You could have said something about Tony, you know. He told you enough about me that you recognized me. You could have placated me, and I might not even have remembered the princess thing until you left." "So you're really not mad?" Harley shook its head. "Not at all." Fair hand trailed up his chest until it cupped his neck. "If anything, you being Spider-Man's kind of hot." Her gaze dropped to his lips, and she could see how he blushed. "You think so?" Harley nodded. "Yeah." And then they bridged the distance to kiss him.